Hello, welcome to the Dahlia Society. My name is Kristen. Today we have a twice as nice pattern and it's the Zadie Jump-suit. I'm sure you've all heard of it. It's been a sensation on the Instagram for quite a while now and I've been dying to make one of these for quite some time. Thank you for tuning in today. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, it might be a great idea to do so before you forget, and also tap on the bell so you get your little notifications. I try and post once to twice weekly, and that way you can keep up to date with my episodes. Now, before I get started today, I just wanted to send out a big thank you to everyone who has inquired about myself, and I just wanted to also say a really big heartfelt thank you from all of us here in Australia. We've all seen the outpouring of just people inquiring about our safety. People have been donating money. The whole bushfire tragedy that's unfolded here recently in Australia has been horrific. A lot of the country has suffered greatly. A lot of animals have been either killed or displaced. There's been so many people that have lost homes. A lot of people have lost their lives. And I just wanted to say what a brilliant job that the CFA are doing. There's so many men and women firefighters that are putting their life on the line to help people either save their homes and put out fires. So they're all volunteers too. A lot of people there are leaving their families for weeks at a time. So on behalf of myself, I just wanted to say a huge thank you, that we appreciate it so much. I think that a lot of people are putting out calls for sewers in the community to either sew like pouches of sugar glider bats and joeys and koalas and that kind of thing. And I think they have been inundated with people donating to that sort of thing. So I think they might have enough now. From what I've heard, they are actually asking people if they wanted to help. And the best way is to donate to a lot of different funds, which I will link below because I'm not going to talk about it too much. And I think it's probably best to leave it to the experts, and that I'm no way an expert, but I just think it's great to have some reputable charities there listed below if you're thinking about doing that. So at the moment we are safe where I am. There's probably a fire maybe a good 100 kilometres away that they've been trying to put out for quite a long time now, and a lot of the fire fronts have joined up, which makes it really an impossible task for them to put out. So yeah, so we're just fingers crossed. We're all on high alert here, and the air quality has been shocking lately with thick smoke. People are trying to stay indoors when a lot of the smoke's around, so it's not great for the environment. But fingers crossed we will all battle through this and stay safe. So thank you so much for all your support. So getting back to sewing here today, I've wanted to show you something I've got on that's actually sewing related. Here, my daughter actually bought me a little badge, a sewing badge from Jubly. I think the website's called. I'll link her below as well. She makes all sorts of little enamel badges, metal badges, and this one my daughter just had to have for me, which we actually laughed about the name because it says Stitchin' Bitch, which I'm quite fond of, but I thought I'll wear that and I'll give you guys a little look. She's got quite a few sewing related ones on there. Excuse the wind here, it is really shocking weather. Hot and dry, not great for the fireys, but yeah, fingers crossed we get some rain tonight. So yeah, this little badge is just, I just thought it's just all about me, Stitchin' Bitch, which is what I am. I'm not afraid to call myself that. Be proud, wear it proudly. Today we're going to talk about the Paper Theory Zadie Jumpsuit. Now, most of you guys would have already made a version of this over in the Northern Hemisphere. Of course, for summer it was probably the biggest pattern release that you guys had all year, and just about everybody had made one of these that I saw. So I was dying to get one of these patterns ready for summer, and it didn't let me down. I must say, I have looked at so many reviews of this. Majority of them would be a 5-star review. I haven't seen anyone downplay this and say it's not all it was cracked up to be, because everyone loves it. Best thing about it being, of course, other than being a jumpsuit, which I love, is the fact that it's so easy to make because you've got no fastenings, no zips, no buttons. It's basically, the hardest bit about it would be making the bias binding, which is pretty easy. And I made this one in my Liberty cotton lawn, which I had put aside for a while, and it's just come up beautiful, lovely and light, comfortable to wear. I'll pop some photos of me so you can see how it looks. Really, really happy with the style. I opted for the no sleeve version, of course, because it's so hot over here at the moment. It's got good coverage, cross over the front, and the fact is the fitting issues. There's not many fitting issues at all. I made a straight size 14. I was nearly going to do the 16. I hadn't made paper theory pattern before. I didn't quite know how the fit was, but very glad I didn't, because it would have been enormous. So a 14 had so much room. You'll find the amount of ease in the pattern there's quite a lot of ease, because you've got that kind of double wrap around and double wrap around tie as well. So you've got plenty of room to play with there. I didn't make any crotch adjustments or anything like that, because I find it had heaps of room there as well. If you're on the shorter side, I'm 5'6", but if you're shorter than that, you may want to make up a 12, because it could be a little bit long in the crutch. But it's always better to have things like jumpsuits a little bit longer in the crutch, because when you are particularly going to the bathroom, going to the toilet, if you have it too short in the crutch, it can be almost impossible to get off, because you've sort of got to yank it up, yank it down over your shoulders. Yeah, it's not the most comfortable thing to do. So I always think that a little bit of length in the crotch can be a good thing, especially for jumpsuits. So the making of the jumpsuit was particularly very easy. The PDF pattern which I downloaded, I found it didn't have a lot of information written on the pattern pieces. You may want to write yourself front, back, that sort of thing on the pants. Make sure you've got your double notches for the back pieces and your single notches for the front, so you can keep track of what's what, because that can be a little bit confusing, especially for a beginner. If there's not a lot of information written on the pattern pieces, you can get a little bit confused. So it might be a good idea too, with the PDF pattern, when you printed them out, you just write with pen on the, your front and your back, and what the pieces are called, because that's one thing I found the pattern to be lacking. The pattern instructions were very straightforward and very easy to follow. I didn't have any issues with that at all. It was a really easy pattern to make. In fact, I made 2 of these. The next version you'll see I made the day after I made this one was in a mustard cotton drill. The pattern does call for a medium to lightweight fabric. So you can think of anything like a linen, a rayon, viscose, cotton lawn, crepe, really anything that's that mid to lightweight, and venturing into things like a mid to heavier weight, like the cotton, the drill, the denims, the chambrays, that sort of thing. So you've really got quite a wide variety of choice there. And the heavier weight does give it more of a structured look, which is almost like that boiler suit style, the drill jumpsuits that you'll see you'll see people wearing. They're based it on the strong female creative artist person. So, people that are makers in the community, like the artists, the designers, the crafty people, like artisanal people would wear, particularly in their given trade. So it's sort of got that industrialized little bit of a look about it, which is quite a modern take on a jumpsuit. So I really love the look of that. And they're all about the modern looking woman and the modern pattern for paper theory. If you look on their website, you'll see quite a lot of patterns there with a lot of defined structured seam lines. I think the kabuki tee is another one there, that real definite seam line and structure, which is very interesting to wear as well. PDF pattern, yep, you'll see that it comes in a sleeveless and a long sleeve, and the leg is almost like an ankle length wide pant. One of the features I like the most about it is the fact that it's got the slanted front pockets, so you don't have those bulky inseam pockets which can be very full on the hip and a bit too much bulk, can add bulk around there. So it gives it a really nice streamlined look, and you just put your hand in your pocket and it'll just sit beautifully. And you've also got the front pleats on the pants and the front and backs and the top as well, so they're like little pleats, more so than a dart, so it gives you that little bit of definition there, and it's a flattering style to wear as well. So say probably the trickiest part about this would be the bias binding. Now I chose to make the bias binding, and I kind of did it the opposite way to what it said, because I think it said to have it the bias binding so you're doing it from the inside and overlapping on the front and top stitching. Well, I did it the opposite way. I started from right sides together at the front and did on the inside and top stitch that way. So that way, if you wanted to use a different bias binding to what your fabric is, if you wanted to save on fabric, you could use just a contrasting or coordinating bias binding, you could pre-buy it. That would save a lot of time, and you wouldn't see it if it was on the internal part of the garment as well. So that's another little hint that I think could work. The tricky bit was following where the ties connect, was getting the bias binding around that clean edge, which sort of goes around the tie. So almost like a little curved shape. And that's why you need to have bias binding that's cut on the bias to maneuver around those curved corners. But yeah, that was quite easy to do. It wasn't tricky at all, but probably the most trickiest part about the pattern would be going around those little ties. But yeah, it came together really quickly. Paper Theory patterns come in sizes 6 to 16 in the first lot, and 16 to 28. There's 2 separate pattern sizings. So the next was, I think, 16 to 28. Which is a great inclusivity as far as patterns go. That was a really good range, I think. And I have seen the Zadie on all sorts of shapes and sizes and ages. I think it's brilliant. This in particular is one that I think they have really thought about for all shapes and sizes. And I think people feel great in it that have worn it too. So a lot of the curvier sewists in the community have listed this as one of their favourite garments to make, just to feel fantastic. I made this in about just under 3 meters of fabric, which was plenty, and the drill was about the same. I did both with a sleeveless. I decided for winter I'd like to do another, maybe a denim one, which is a great versatile garment to have in your wardrobe, a heavier weight denim jumpsuit. Another thing I love about the Zadie Jump-suit is not only can it be made in wovens, but it's one of those patterns that you can make in a knit, which I think would be the most comfortable thing ever. So if you look on their pattern instructions for fabrics, you'll see it can be made in a knit fabric. So I'm thinking something with a little bit more structure. So maybe something like maybe a Ponte or a scuba could work well. Even maybe a knit rayon could work really well. I'd probably stay away from anything too like an ITY. I think it'd be too baggy, because once you sew them up, they can be quite drapey. So I'd stay away from it too lighter or stretchier fabric. Cotton interlock, maybe. I probably wouldn't. I'd probably stick more to more of a structured, weightier knit. If you've made this in a knit and it's worked for you, just comment down below and let me know what you've made it in and how it's worked. And I think they just said that the only tricky thing about the knit is the bias binding. Having the bias binding made out of knit can be quite a tricky thing to do, but you can actually buy bias binding that's made out of knit fabric as well, so that could even be another little time save. I'm going to pop some footage of me modeling the mustard drill jumpsuit and some pictures as well, so if you can have a little look there and see what you think. You'll see the difference in the weight and the structure and the drape of the garment with the 2 different fabrics used as well. They really do alter the look of the garment, and that's the beauty of having a pattern that you can mix and match a lot of different pattern weights with. You can really have a totally different looking garment. Do you have any patterns that you would like to see as a twice as nice episode? Please comment below, because I would love your suggestions. I always value my feedback after episodes, and I love to hear what you guys think of an episode and how it's worked for you as well. Anything that's worked really well or even failed for you, let me know, because I always like to know. I think it's great. It's a great way for people in the community to see if people have tried something that's worked for them and spread it around, because it really can help people a lot to have that little bit of knowledge. Now, recently on my community page, you would have seen a little poll there, and I had questions for a sew along, what you would like to see me sew, and I think the overwhelming response was the Sew House 7 free range slack. So my next sew along will be on that. If you'd like to join in and follow along with that sewing episode, don't forget, as I say, to subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll be notified as soon as that comes out. They're a fantastic, easy, comfortable pant to wear, so I'm sure you'll be thrilled with how they come up. Now, I'm not sure if you guys know, but a lot of the patterns that I promote, I am not reimbursed or affiliated with any of the pattern companies. This is purely from my own experience. The patterns that I have purchased myself with my own money, and I actually like to share with you how those patterns have worked out too. And I've had a few people say that they are finding it, as far as patterns go, some things aren't as affordable as they'd like them to be. So one of the episodes coming up in the near future, I'm going to try and find free patterns for you that I know are going to work for me. So I'm not going to push a lot of free patterns on you that I haven't sewn, because I think that's unfair because then, you know, if those free patterns, if you invest in the fabric and they don't work out, it can be a waste of time and money. So I'm going to try and find the free patterns that I know that I love that have worked for me. So I'll probably try and split those episodes up. I might do free tops in one episode, free pants in another, or free dresses in another. So it will be something I'll be doing in the future as a regular kind of episode. I think it helps the sewing community feel a bit more included if they are then given the chance. People that, you know, can't always afford to buy a pattern, or that feel that patterns can be a little bit overpriced, which everyone has a different budget for their sewing, which is really an individual thing. I think to offer free patterns that I know work for me, I'd love to be able to share them with you guys. So I hope you really enjoy that. Don't forget, with the Paper Theory Zadie, it is there's quite a lot of ease in the pattern. It's quite a long length crotch, so I don't think you'll have any issue at all in the length there. If you're on the shorter side, maybe think about shortening the crotch a little bit or making a 12/3. You can quite easily vary your fabrics. Always look for about 3 meters to 3.5 meters for the sleeve, and yeah, just have fun with it. I'd love to hear your responses and see how you went with the Zadie jumpsuit, so let me know. Again, thank you all so much for your fantastic support, and I will see you again very soon for the next episode. Bye for now.